Hi everyone, it's Veroosh. Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Aquarius season, which starts in a couple days and will end in March. I don't do these season readings very often now, but I've done them in the past a lot, and I thought maybe it's a good way to introduce to you some of the energy that's with us at this time. It's about a season's worth of astrological transits that are going to be working together. So it fits nicely. Just like in the beginning of the year, we had all those transits enter into the earth signs and the nodes. So it's a similar sort of energy. Anyway, so I want to talk to you guys about the astrology today, and then we can go into a sign by sign reading. I did a Mercury retrograde video, and I think people liked that format in which we did a reading for every sign and then also astrology for every sign. So that's what we're going to do today after the astrology. Also, members, if we get the likes up on this video and lots of comments, then I will do an extended Lenormand reading for the collective for members tonight. So at the end of the day, if there's like a good amount of likes and comments on this video, then I'll post a video for members. If we can get the likes up to, I don't know, 500 likes by the end of the day, then we can do the Lenormand reading for everyone on Tarot Talk on the other channel. So if you're not a member but you still want to see the video, it's kind of a good day to like and comment if you don't mind. I have actually a request for those of you who are interested. I kind of like the clock app. I don't want to say which one. It's another app, another social media app. But the problem is that it's geolocated, and I live in Canada. And so because I live in Canada, my videos posts get funneled to only Canadian viewers. And most of you guys are in America or elsewhere. So if you don't mind, if you're on the clock app, then please go and like and comment on my posts, and then I can post more there. Otherwise, it's not working for me. And if you don't know what the clock app is, then please ask in the comments and somebody will tell you. So yeah. Also, one more thing, my videos, my readings are out. And so if you are interested in a reading with me, go into the description and in the comments, read the information, and then get a reading with me. So I will be putting my website back up shortly, but this is a very busy January for me, so I hope you guys wait, and if you want a reading in the meantime, go into the description and in the comments, okay? So that's all I have to say. I hope you guys are feeling good. The reason I'm doing this reading is because last night I was like, oh, they need a reading. So that's why I'm here. Oh, I just wanted to mention some of the videos that came out recently, because some of you may have not gotten notifications. If you're not getting notifications from me, because I have not been posting very much, so this may happen, unsubscribe from me and resubscribe. Members, you should not have to do this, but if you're not a member, this is what you do. So unsubscribe and resubscribe and turn on all notifications, and that will reset it. So if you're not getting notices that I'm posting, it may be because I have not been posting very much for a long time. So if you want to get notifications again, make sure you're commenting, make sure you're liking, and make sure that you reset that. You may want to reset your cookies as well, and that might help it. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. I'm looking at the astrology and I actually really like it. But let me clarify why I like it, because the reason I like it may be not the reason other people may not like it for the same reasons I like it. This is a very intense, get down to business energy. So this energy is very much about getting on with things, getting things done. This is an energy of finally resolving things and moving forward. So I'm a person who enjoys that energy. I don't like staying in bad situations and so forth. I have an Aquarian moon, so not enough of that, right? But if you're a person who doesn't like a lot of things changing, a lot of things shifting, dynamics between people changing, you might feel overwhelmed by this. I'm thinking the water signs may find this energy a bit intense, or if you're heavily sensitive. I'm sensitive, but for some reason this stuff doesn't bother me. But if you're very sensitive, like a highly sensitive person, or if you like a lot of consistency, this energy might be one in which you don't want to sit it out, but you want to be patient, and you want to be focusing on the fact that if you're feeling overstimulated, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you have like a nice place to relax and pay attention. This is definitely an energy. If you're a wild cowboy, you can get right into it and participate. There's going to be consequences with being assertive with this type of energy. So if you initiate a lot of things, there will be a very fast pushback. But if you are not into crazy energy, then maybe this is a time in which it's a good idea to be reserved. It's a good idea to be patient. Nothing is going to be pushing you to respond quickly. And what happens in this Aquarius season from February to March, from February, sorry, Pisces, from January to February, I was looking as far as Pisces season. It actually does connect with Pisces season, but this is not a season that requires that you have to respond quickly. So even if you feel like a lot of pressure is around you, sit back, relax. It will be okay, and just observe the things that are changing. People who act before they think will have a very hard time with this season. So if you are mindful, and if you sit and pay attention and really pay attention to the things that are changing around you, which will be very explicit, so you're not going to miss the point. It's going to be very clear what's happening. It's going to be very upfront. And that's what I like about the energy, the directness of it all. When all these things happen, then you will have time to think, figure out how you want to respond, and make your decisions. So it's going to really help to move things along, move things forward. And it's time to do so, because at the end of this season, there's going to be some energy that you want to prepare yourself for. I'll tell you guys about that in a minute. So I kind of organized my mind on how to tell you about this. Some of the transits I talk about will have deeper videos. So the way I'm just here introducing the theme, very similar to my Welcome 2022 video, in which I gave you an overview, just like the Mercury retrograde video. So those videos are down in the description, so you can go check them out and watch them. In fact, I think that the Welcome 2022 video for each individual sign is a good video to watch with what I'm telling you here. So these energies are very complementary. Watch Welcome 2022 for your sun, moon, and rising, and then watch this video. I think it's going to be good. Okay, so what is up with Aquarius season? First of all, there's a huge emphasis in Capricorn. So Aquarius season starts on the 20th and will continue into March, okay? And at that time, there's a lot of transits that will be active in Capricorn. There's a couple retrogrades happening until the end of the month. And particularly the last week of January is when a lot of stuff goes down. This is why I called this a weekly, because there's so many things happening in Capricorn from now until the end of the month. So I want you to be aware. I want you to see it. I want you to understand it. And we'll do deeper look at some of these. Namely, Venus retrograde will deep dive into it, because you have to really unpack it to understand what's going on. But we are going to kind of talk about that now. So first of all, we know this is another general observation. And I've mentioned this before, but I think it's relevant given the current world events. The South Node and the North Node are in Taurus and Scorpio. And you can see that all the planets are on the one side of them. And this is Vedic astrology. This is not Western that I'm about to address. But in Vedic astrology, it's considered to be very out of balance in mundane astrology, which means world events, to have all the planets on the one side of the nodes. It's considered to be an imbalance, right? And causing great shifts and great transformations. So what's been happening in the last few days since Mars passed the South Node into Sagittarius, well, what's been happening is that there was a massive earthquake in the Pacific, in the South Pacific, and this earthquake happens once every 900 years. I put a clip of that in my full moon reading for you guys, but in case you missed it, that's what's up. And I explained in the clip why the astrology was very eerily correlating with what was going on. And so, first of all, my heart goes out to Tonga and the Pacific region. I hope you guys are okay. It looks very intense. It's very scary that it was heard in Alaska, which is like 6,000 miles away. So this is no little explosion. This is huge. So I hope everybody's okay. Very intimidating. And astrologically, when you look at it, you see the depth. So another layer to this is this perspective from Vedic astrology that when all the planets are on the one side, the earth is in out of balance and events happen like this. So I'm avoiding really saying, geologists are saying there may be other events. And so with regard to that region, so we'll stick to that. Science is awesome. So astrology is awesome. And I use astrology to complement science. If you're curious, that's why my stuff is always a little scientific. I enjoy science. I think it's great. And I think it's great to kind of appreciate the science of science and also the science of astrology. I'm kidding about science of astrology. I do respect science, and I think astrology is a nice complement. I like calling astrology the science because I think it's a great energy. So that's, it's not to say that more things will happen, but to show you guys how astrology works and how these different interpretations work and how it's helpful to be appreciative of different models of understanding. And so look around and have that appreciation for us, how astrology may play out in the world. So all my heart out to Tonga. I hope that everyone there is okay. Fiji, I think Hawaii's okay. So anyway, everyone, New Zealand, I hope you guys are all great. Okay, so that's what I had to say about that. But yeah, so there's a lot of focus in Capricorn. And so there will be a concentration of transits in the last week of January. Mars will enter into Capricorn, and this ties into the Tonga volcano because I believe that when Mars enters into Capricorn, and we'll see that happen here. Let me do this for you. On January 24th, it's going to possibly lead to more Earth-oriented geological events. In Capricorn, we're talking about geology, Earth, mountains, volcanoes, all of these things. So with so many active transits in Capricorn, I'm not surprised. I don't like forecasting graphic events, but I like to reflect upon them as they happen. So Mars entering into Capricorn, great. And I think that this will be a big catalyst for moving things forward. So that's the big event. You're looking 5 days from now from filming. Mars enters Capricorn. In mundane astrology, meaning world event astrology, this may activate some things. And for you individually, it's activating things as well. In other words, it's putting things to action. So you should probably look around in your world today or whenever you're watching and pay attention to what's shifting, what's begun to change, who's talking to you, what are they talking to you about, what circumstances in your life are you moving forward. I make lists. I'm a Virgo, so you may want to make a list too. It really helps to see and concentrate. So, for example, with these transits that we have going on here, I saw all the transits happening, but when I wrote the list of them, I was like, oh, I can see the dates, and it really correlates. So for your circumstances in your life, you can say, I had a conversation with this person about this matter, or I had a conversation with my partner about this matter. And so I think that the catalyst event is starting, and I think it's a positive one in order to move things along. So be organized and be ready. Capricorn energy is all about organization as well. It's not funny like in Virgo, but it is about staying organized. So be mindful, be aware. We're very grounded at this time. I like this energy, and it really helps us to move along. So now let's talk about the retrogrades that we talked about in the last video for Welcome 2022 a little bit more. So Mercury, of course, is retrograde until February 4th. It will enter back into Capricorn on January 26th. So it's going to be in Capricorn with all these other transits, which are Pluto, Juno, Venus, Vesta, and Mars. And so we have a high concentration. And these planets, as opposed to 2019 and 2020, when we had Saturn, Jupiter, South Node, and Pluto, are inner transits. These affect us personally a lot more. So whatever happened in 2019 is now getting resolved on the individual level. And so events from the past may show up. It's time to address whatever you have outstanding from 2019 and 2020. Find closure for that, work through it, and address it, okay? So Mercury, when it enters into Capricorn, will heighten its frequency of retrograde energy. And so, like I said in your Mercury retrograde video, this is when the physical results come out from whatever has been initiated in the air sign of Aquarius in terms of communication. So whatever you've been communicating about and whatever you will until January 26th, you will see the consequences, the physical consequence, which is hopefully for you material gain or something else positive of a material nature come out for you. So very important for you to be a self-starter right now, to initiate what you need to initiate with others. And then let's talk about the last transit. We have Venus going direct in Capricorn on January 28th. So Mars enters Capricorn on the 24th. Mercury retrogrades back into Capricorn from Aquarius on the 26th. Venus moves direct on the 28th of January, and then starts to move forward. So you have a lot of shifts in energy. Venus retrograde, of course, has a lot to do with emotions, has a lot to do with relationships. And so this is where you want to be very mindful, very still. People will initiate things. Things will begin to resolve. People may ask you to respond to things. It might take your time in doing so. And I think it's a good energy too, because I think if you're involved in a situation that involves some level of emotion, this direct motion of Venus by the 28th, Mercury retrograde into Capricorn, very grounded energy, will allow you to factually respond to things. Can you feel that? The emotions are there, but it's a very Capricorn energy in that of composure, of communicating well, of sticking to the facts, of not being baited by petty people, being backhanded. So let's say somebody's being petty to you, they're saying something not nice, a microaggression of some sort. you will not respond in turn. You will respond professionally and you will respond adequately. So this is a very good energy to address problematic situations in your life in which, especially if you're feeling emotional about them, to respond level-headedly. It's a very level-headed time. So, and it will set you up for the rest of the year. So this is a very good energy for that. And for some of you, this may be retroactive in the sense that this is the time to address things that happened from 2019 through 2020 when there was those big planet transits in Capricorn. So this is, we're phasing out, we're walking out of the ocean onto the sand from the last couple years. It's a resolution energy, not necessarily a closure yet, but it's kind of, the energy is softening out, and it's a very nice transit. So I want to focus a little bit on Venus and Mars, but I want to say that I'm going to talk about Venus and Mars more explicitly when we reach the Venus retrograde videos. But I want to point out that now, as we enter into February, so we'll push past this week now, Venus and Mars will form a conjunction that will last until March. So by February 6th, I want to show you guys So by February 6th, we have the conjunction forming between Venus and Mars in Capricorn. This is actually retroactive from last year. There was a series of conjunctions that started in Leo in July of 2021. And then Venus and Mars did their dance, which they always do, back and forth between positive aspects, which are trines and sextiles, to harsher energies such as squares. And so now they're together. It's been a long journey. We'll talk about that in Venus retrograde. But be prepared for relationships resolving. So there's two things going on here. There's the bigger Capricorn energy, and within that there may be a subset of experiences in which Venus and Mars are together and the relationships, the personal relationships start working out. For many of you, they may be romantic relationships, and for some of you, they may be platonic relationships. And also, for some of you, if you're back and forth with a person trying to figure out your relationship, let's say it's a casual or a secret crush even, this is the type of energy that may initiate it forward, and people may feel more bold and more adventuresome to pursue it. But it is in a bigger picture energy in which Venus and Mars formed that conjunction in Leo of last year and then continued for the last 6 months. So it's a bigger picture. If there's someone on your horizon who you've been flirting with or someone who you're getting good energy from and it's not been coming together, now that it's coming into a conjunction on February 6th or so, this is a loose, I mean, if we take it back, the conjunction starts sooner, but it gets quite pronounced about February 6th or so. So, and then they will travel together because Venus, when she turns direct, is slow, and then she gets quite fast. So at first she's moving slowly because she's just had the direct motion from retrograde. And then by the time March rolls around and her and Mars are in Aquarius, she'll move past and then carry on. They always go back and forth like this. And we'll talk about more about this, as we carry on. Okay, so I want to talk about the nodes a little bit more. This is a big picture thing that will affect the next 6 months to a year. Also, we will do a concentrated video on the nodes. And for now, let's just acknowledge that they're in Taurus and Scorpio. And what's going on in a big picture energy is that they're applying some types of squares to the sun in Aquarius during Aquarius season. So as the sun moves up in Aquarius, well, it's not so explicit now, but there you go. So once the sun's up in Aquarius, I'm looking at February 10th here. I know somebody asked about February 10th and 11th on TikTok, so this may be an answer for you if you're watching this. she said that there's something up about February 11th. So this may be one of the things. The sun will begin its square to the nodes. So sun square nodes has a lot to do with our daily life, affecting, it's in out of harmony with the big picture. So what we are doing during that time may not be so harmonious to where our destiny is heading in a big picture. And this is normal, don't freak out, but it is at a time in which we may be distracted or do other things, or we may find it difficult to carry on in a productive direction. Okay, that's the square. So throughout Aquarius season, there are several squares that will be applying, and applying is a technical term which means they're increasing now. So the nodes move retroactively in retrograde motion, and so they'll go down in number. So see, they entered Taurus at 30 degrees. Now they're 27 Taurus, and then South Node 27 Scorpio. So they're applying to positions in the other fixed signs, namely Aquarius and Leo. So as they move back over the next year and a half, they will be hitting squares to the fixed signs. So if you have a lot of fixed signs like me, then, and especially in Aquarius and Leo, which I have a lot too, you're going to be experiencing friction at this time in your life events, sort of distracting you from the general trend where you're focusing, which will be wherever the North Node is. We'll talk about that more in the individual readings. I just wanted to explain that to you right now. So there's a couple more things astrologically. I don't like to make astrology too long, but there's lots to talk about here to introduce the ideas. There's been a square between Saturn and Uranus that has been very relevant until now. And now Uranus has moved direct on the 17th. Sorry, I didn't put out a video about that. Uranus direct retrograde motion is a bit funny to talk about because it happens so cyclically. Half the year is essentially retrograde, half is direct. We can talk about it another time. But it is a big deal, but yet it's very common. So I skipped it because of the full moon. And so now we're going to take a look at Saturn with Uranus square, which had 3 squares in 2021, and it's still resolving at this time. In fact, as Saturn now direct moves up in Aquarius, it too will begin squaring the nodes as it moves up. And this is important for Aquarius season for you to pay attention, because as it moves up, it will begin then to retrograde back into Aquarius. Saturn tends to move fast, but it has a retrograde cycle that lasts several months, and it moves fast back. So that's why it spends 2.5 years in every single sign. It moves forward fast, but then it takes itself back quite a lot with that retrograde cycle. So we'll see Saturn moving up into the 20-degree mark in Aquarius, at which time it's going to begin to slightly square the nodes. And that will give you an idea of what's up and coming for next year when Saturn moves into this area of the chart more. So in Aquarius season, some themes may come up for you that will foreshadow, show you the future of what the energy will be like next year. And so some of the frequencies of that is, the thing that I'm getting from it right now is some circumstance that you have to address may in some way be in the way or holding you back from this, again, this idea of progress in your life and where you're focused. So let's say you're in school, you're focusing on that, your North Node is in Taurus, it's down to business. Saturn may have some outstanding things for you to address, and as it's forming its squares to the nodes, that might be emphasized. What my advice for you is with regard to this, and this is in light of the fact there's so much in Capricorn as well, very similar advice. Get it done early. Figure out and be honest with yourself. This is a good energy for being honest with yourself and not getting wishy-washy, emotional, and pushing it aside. So be honest with yourself. What is the outstanding thing that needs to be addressed? Is it health? Is it money? Is it some bureaucratic thing that's outstanding? Deal with it now before Saturn moves into later stages of Aquarius. And especially if some theme in your life starts coming up at the end of Aquarius season in February, and it's something old that you need to do, pay attention to that and do it. Take care of it right now in the spring, in the early spring, late winter, so that it gets resolved and it doesn't frustrate you in the future. So I sense that if these things are not addressed, these squares, Saturn is going to be tugging on you in the future and holding you back from making the progress you want. So it's nice to get things done because then nothing is holding you back. Okay, so that's all I have to say about that. There's been a lot of tension between Saturn and Uranus. That is greatly going to feel like it's decreasing. So the push and pull between the past and the new is resolving itself. But then Saturn will be squaring the nodes, so there will be a similar aspect happening. But that will be something for you to address, something from the past that needs to be resolved. And if it's not resolved, then you will have to deal with it, you know? And it's going to, the more Saturn is up in Aquarius and the lower that the nodes are, the tighter the square and the more pressure you will feel, the more distraction you will feel. So it's better to do it now than later. Very, very good. So if you get things done early in 2022, and especially at the end of February, at the end of January, beginning of February, I think that it's going to really push you ahead. This is a year where you want to get a fresh start. So, you know, I hope this is encouraging to you and not disparaging. So I want to talk about the lunations or the moons, and then we'll start on the rest of the video. So there's a new moon in Aquarius. I kind of zoomed past it. So it's at 12 degrees Aquarius. Let me show you. There it is. Hold on. Let's see. Being picky. Okay, so the new moon is happening on the 31st of January. So we get 2 new moons in January. That's pretty fun. And so there it is on January 31st. We'll talk about the moons as they happen. We'll dedicate videos, but suffice it to say that this new moon is conjunct Saturn and still squaring Uranus. So what we were just talking about. So this will be a fresh take and hopefully some kind of resolution on what's good about the past, what's good about the future, and finding a space between the two. The full moon, and this is very important, is going to happen in Leo right at the end of Aquarius season. So there you go. It's at 27 degrees of Aquarius. And so this full moon will be on a square to the nodes. So the tension between what's happening may be distracting us from where we're focusing on in Taurus. And so at this time, it's going to be a very illuminating full moon, no pun intended. It's going to be on February 16th, and it's going to really help you identify what needs to be worked on in your life and what needs to be resolved. So, you know, I wish you all the best with that. And that's the astrology. How long? 34 minutes. That's not that bad. But yeah, I apologize for the length in this. What am I going to do? Okay, hold on. So thanks guys for listening. Let me see if I need to fix something because I had it set up to show you the moving chart and now I have to show something else. So let's see if this works. Yay, okay, did it. Okay, so now we can do individual sign readings and I'm going to say hi to everyone in the comments. Hi, Anna. Long time no see. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Hi, everybody. Deji is here. Hi, Jessica, my moderators. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm going to get into the individual signs. So, yes, so today what we're going to do for individual signs is a mix of tarot and Lenormand, but I'm just going to pick one Lenormand sign for every single sign. One little card for every single sign. So let's do the dice. if somebody is up for keeping track, then that would be helpful, because I really want to get into the astrology and focus on it rather than focus on focus on oh, there we go. Focus on that instead of the order. Sorry, what I'm doing, the reason I'm distracted is I'm setting up the chart so I can show you guys by sign. There we go. How is that? It's not the best. I knew I was gonna mess it up. Here we go. Let me see if I can fix that a little bit. Okay, how is it now? Good. Okay. Took a little Mercury retrograde, right, everyone? Okay, so let's start with the first sign. So we're going to talk to Virgo first. Virgos haven't gone first in a while. So hi, Virgos. Welcome to my channel. Let's take a look at your transits and a little tarot and Lenormand message for you. Okay, so let's take a look first at Lenormand, what card you get. And then I'll explain some of the astrology and what to focus on, okay? So first message is ship. So that makes sense. Virgo, ship represents travel. And so as the North Node is in your 9th house of travel, you may be really embracing looking at different horizons and looking to expand your horizons a bit more. So that's, the North Node has a great influence on where we are focusing. And so right at this time, your 9th house is opening wide, and that's a really nice energy. So with this Capricorn emphasis, we're talking about love. And shy Virgos, if there's someone around who, you know, might be a little cute, this may be the time to go after it. And so, yeah, it's a very good transit for working out love relationships, Virgo. Jupiter is also in your 7th house, so look forward to that. 10 of Wands. Okay, so we have 10 of Wands. 10 of Wands means, I think, shyness, judgment. Okay, so 10 of Wands feels to me like there's some degree of shyness or feeling overwhelmed by circumstances in love. So overstimulated to the point that you want to run away. So there's a situation that you really feel uncomfortable confronting, and you will be making a decision about that, and it's going to be a good decision. This is the 6 of Wands, so you will feel good about however things work out. I think you're ready to confront and work out a situation. You have an Ace of Pentacles too, which is new beginnings. I think you have been stewing in a situation for too long. You've been in the same situation for so long, and now I think there's a really good way forward, a good way to move forward carefully and subtly. And I think around the corner, so to speak, there's a new beginning for you. And we have the Queen of Cups. You might at this time through Aquarius season meet or connect with a friend who is a Queen of Cups energy. So somebody very emotional, very sensitive. I think you deserve or you require that emotional support right now. So there's a very nice connection. As Jupiter is in the 7th house, I really trust this card for you. This person could be very loyal. This could be everything from a romantic interest, particularly if you are same-sex female. There could be a very good connection for you there. But I feel like it's a very good friendship energy too. For me, the 7th house does break down into like more platonic energy too. So this could be a friend that you can really trust comes through, and it's a water sign. I feel like it's a water sign or someone who's deeply sensitive, which means not sensitive, you know, the meme that's going around about empaths, like I'm an empath, I can tell how you feel. No, not that kind. Sensitivity means being receptive to other people's feelings and being not like an empath, but very sympathetic or compassionate. So I think that this feels really nice, like a considerate friend. That's what I'm trying to say. So that's Virgo's message. Today we're going to keep it short because, you know, we've been talking a lot recently. So we have Aquarius. We would just want to get you going for this season. Aquarius. Come on. Oh, these dice may be a little too bright. I set up everything to be... Oh, come on. You can do it. There we go. Aquarius. Hi, Sagittarius. Let's take a look at your card. So I'll pick a Lenormand card for Sag, and it's the Snake. Snake can represent a very sneaky person. To me, this is communicating to you a situation in which you may feel restricted by someone or a situation. So the situation itself, I feel like it's a situation that's caused by people, Sagittarius. So it's not so much a situation in which it's circumstantial. I feel like your relationships with others are causing, with someone in particular, is causing you to feel restricted. And I think this really matches the astrology that emphasizes your second house of money. This is a very strong financial time. And for you, this will be a big financial push through Aquarius season that will happen, that will be one of the last ones for a while. I'm not saying that you will not be financially successful moving forward, but this is a very strong energy that can really get you places. I feel as though social relationships are holding you back in some way, and I think that you already know this, but moving forward, going in a particular direction, being committed to the future is a very good energy for you now. So I think you're already feeling that you need to let go of whoever's around that's complicating things and more focus on your money and making a decision. I also think that you will have some kind of financial opportunity in the next month come up. So, you know, kind of declutter your calendar and be ready. Let's take a look at some cards. We have, let's see. So we have the Six of Cups. That's Sun in Scorpio. It's just a general observation about the card. And then we have the, what is this? Princess of Pentacles. Like that's the Page of Pentacles. It feels like a very warm connection with someone. Now, you have Chiron in the 5th house. I wouldn't be surprised if through the next few years you make a lot of connections by being vulnerable with others. 7 of Cups. I think you're open to vulnerability. I think you're open to talking about the past, confusion that you've had in the past, or difficulties about understanding. So if somebody's applying pressure to you and trying to manipulate you in some way to be less of what you are, I do feel like turning to someone else, being vulnerable, telling them what's going on, maybe very helpful. Maybe someone close to home, maybe like a roommate or, you know, someone who lives with you in the house, having heart-to-heart conversations that can empower you to move forward on your own. Then we have the 4 of Pentacles. I love this card. See, this is your little boss right now financially. It's a very, very good energy. And then we have Queen of Wands. This is your energy. This is like, I bow to no man. Look at her go. This is the Cosmic Tarot, which to me is so Aquarian. Like everything about it looks like Aquarius season, and that's why we're using it today. And then we have the 10 of Wands. I think that there's like a fear that somebody's messed things up and left you with a lot of consequences. I really feel that if you leave it without addressing it, it's just going to build up. So again, the message will come up a lot today to address the circumstances that are around you and don't hold back from dealing with things. And it'll be better than if you leave it till later. I feel like there's like a level of weariness about what's going on, but it's a transit of the North Node in which you're supposed to get down to business. And as the North Node enters lower grades of Taurus degrees and Uranus moves up a bit more, you're going to find new ways to deal with it. So if you feel like there's a situation that you don't know how to deal with, you will find a new way in a little bit. So be hopeful and be optimistic. Okay, so next sign. That was Sag. So now we have Leo. So Leos, you guys get that full moon. And like I said in the astrology, your transits are going to be activated by the North Node transit in Taurus, South Node in Scorpio. It's kind of bright in here. So I was worried about it being too dark, so I made it really bright. So now we have the opposite problem. Mercury retrograde doesn't disappoint. Okay, so Leo, let's take a look at your astrology. I really recommend that you guys pay attention to any content I put out about the nodes if you're a Leo. I think it's very important for you to know exactly how the nodes stand. And I will, in the Leo videos, emphasize certain things that you need to know about those transits. So heads up, the nodes are in fixed signs, and that affects your Leo placements a lot, especially Sun, rising, and the moon, but other transits as well. Let's pick a Lenormand card just to get acquainted. We have choosing paths. I expect this card to come up for a lot of signs. I feel like the energy of Aquarius season, the beginning of the year, January, February, it's all about the bed we make, the choices we decide upon. For you right now, the energy is hugely emphasized in getting work done. So at this time, Aquarius, no matter if you, even if you're a moon in Aquarius, working, a lot of the stuff that I said in the astrology about emotions, because I'm a moon in Aquarius, this is why I really love this transit, because oh, sorry, Leo, shoot, I got distracted. Leo's emphasis, North Node in Leo. Okay, so sorry about this. I started thinking about something else. But anyway, so Leo's, that was Mercury retrograde. So your emphasis is in the 6th house. I'm like, wait a minute, Capricorn is not next to Aquarius. Okay, so you have this emphasis in the 6th house. A lot of the things that I said in the astrology that emphasizing this, not necessarily a lack of emotion, but the ability to compartmentalize, is really here in the 6th house for you. So, you know, making your choices, Leos, making your decisions at this time will be very helpful for you. And this is a real good energy for you to achieve what you make, the decisions you need to make, figure out what's important for you and emphasize that. I think it's a lot at this time of you deciding things about what your life will look like. I also think that because of the Uranus transit, while Uranus is in your 10th house, don't look for outside validation, because on many things, the things that you value will not be things that populist opinions will understand. And Uranus has a reason to its madness, and ultimately it will help you find unique things that are valuable. So in other words, embrace whatever your life is telling you to do in your career and your public life, even if it's strange or if it's different. If you're really into it for the next year, focus on that. So, and Leo's at this time, sorry, I got distracted. I was like, you know what I was thinking to myself? I'm like, I'm doing so well. And then I made the mistake. Okay, so, excuse me. So emphasize hard work, make the hard decision at this time, decide what you're going to do, unapologetic Leo. It's a very good energy. And in terms of the square that I was talking about, your placements here are squaring the nodes. And so especially if you're a late placing Leo right now, you're on a square. So my placements are there as well. So we're all on a square to the nodes right now. So you know, even my fumble right now, there's a lot of that going around. There's a lot, it's kind of a, you know, thinking about one thing and then doing another. So it can be throw you off track, but still, regardless of where your Leo placements are, get down to business, do what you need to do, 1 foot ahead of the other, get it done. Okay, and make your choices. Let's take a look at your cards. We have the 8 of Wands. I love these cards so much. It's such a pleasure to read with them. So 8 of Wands is ruled by Mercury and Sagittarius. And then we have the 4 of Swords. Okay. I think that excitement, I'm getting for you a lot of excitement about something. Be excited about something and put the rest to rest. Like, don't take it, just make your decision about what you're deciding about. Whatever is exciting you at this time, don't apologize for it. Don't over-explain it. The next message is the Queen of Wands. Just like with Sagittarius, go after it. Do your thing. Here is the next message. We have the Three of Wands. In time, things will evolve. So a lot of the things that you are doing now will evolve to what they're meant to be in the future. The next message is the Devil, which is Capricorn energy in your 6th house. This does not mean something bad. I just feel like every day in Aquarius season, Leo should be pedal to the metal, focus in, hyper focus, you know. And then we have the Ace of Swords, which means initiating things. There's a goal at the end, possibly when the full moon is in Leo. Hyper focus. If you're feeling distracted by things, just do what I just did. You know, bring the focus back to self. It's a good grounded energy, and focus on where things are going. So whatever you're trying to achieve, go and get it. Even if it's the outcome is a little ways off from now, it's coming, and don't allow things to distract you. So, okay? And make your choices. So I think that there's a big choice coming up for Leos in the next month. All right. Sorry about that, Leo. I think I said Aquarius and then it distracted me. You are on a continuum with Aquarius. So, okay. Next sign, we have Libra. Hi, Librans. How are you doing? Welcome to my channel. Let's see. Okay, so let's see your sign. Oh, not yet, Scorpio, not yet. Okay, so here we go. So let's take a look at Libra. First, let's take a look at your Lenormand. Stuff's going on in the house. I know a few Libras left me comments last time that they want to buy a house or something like that. Now, new things are not so great with Mercury retrograde, Venus retrograde, but if you need to address something from the past, you know, so like let's say you passed on buying a house before, maybe this is the time for it. So revisionary stuff works really well with this energy. Garden, okay, there's a lot of opportunities in front of you. So maybe this is a little bit of house hunting, window shopping, maybe getting ready for when Mercury moves direct in Capricorn. That will be a very good energy for you. So what I was saying in the astrology is this week, September 24th through the 31st, is a little wacky because you know, there's retrograde and shifts in direction. Mars enters. There's a lot going on in your 4th house. But when Mercury turns direct on February 4th, it will be still in your 4th house, and Venus will be direct. That will be a really good energy for you to move forward. And by the way, Mercury enters into Aquarius on the 14th. So you have 10 days in which some real opportunities may come knocking on your door, Libra. Okay, and that's Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's see the next message. We have the Empress card, which is Venus. So Venus, we're pointing right there in the 4th house. This could be camaraderie with your partner. So if you're married, and let's say you live in a house, I could see you and your partner talking about, you know, hey, we love each other so much, let's buy a house together. That camaraderie, we're so close, and kind of making plans together could be a real aspect of this energy. Then we have the Ace of Wands, a new beginning. Hey, let's go for it. Let's embrace the unknown. You're not so afraid at this time, Libra, because the North Node and Uranus are in your 8th house. You're kind of weird about endings. Like you see the opportunity to end something. You see the big picture pretty early on. Then we have the Queen of Cups, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, secondary transits, and water. There she is again. She was there for Virgo as well. So for you, opportunities coming across very nicely to other people. You're being well received. I just think that it's a very loving energy for you, close to home, close to family, you know, getting the relationship you want. 9 of Cups, fulfillment of wishes. And if you are looking for a new property, you might be finding, you might be very much finding the right one. 9 of Cups, like your dream home, something like that. Then we have the 7 of Swords, kind of moving along. I think this is also changing emphasis on the right things. This is what I was saying here about the North Node in Taurus in your 8th house. Just kind of really ready to let the right thing go early on. Very open to change, very open to transformation. And then we have the 8 of Cups, Saturn. This looks depressing, but the 8 of Cups is not depressing, because 8 of Cups essentially is the non-depressing card, because 8 of Cups is the card of apathy. It's the card of not giving a crap. And so he looks very, very down. It looks like waiting for Godot or something, some existential dread stuff going on. But it's actually knowing when to turn your back on things. So you may find the perfect house. This is going with the idea of buying a house. You could be doing a reno or working in your garden. Something else is going on, positive for your house. But let's go with the buying a house example. Let's say there's a house you really want to buy and you're obsessed with it and you've always wanted to get it. Let's say it's going on the market and you're like, wow, I have to have this and it's in my price range. But you get there and the foundation's cracked and there's a lot of problems. The house needs to be torn down. Do you want the lot, right? So the offer is sort of not what you expect. So you will turn your back on it without feeling bad about it. So there could be something in which you want something a lot, or you have wanted it in the past, come to realize it's not for you for whatever reason. You might turn away from it, you know, so and seek something better. This is going to resolve with what you want, but there is this element of letting something go that was of value to you before. And there's the garden really is saying that there's a lot of opportunities around you throughout Aquarius season. So Aquarius season is always good for Libras, as you're both air signs. Scorpio, there you go. You were psychic. You knew you were coming next. Let's see. So there's your energy. And I'll switch the chart over to, there we go. Scorpio, Scorpio, Scorpio. How are you, Scorpio? Let's see your energy. So you're emphasizing the 3rd house. It's a good time to buy a car, especially after Mercury retrograde turns direct and Venus turns direct. So your golden window of opportunity to buy a car is February 4th through the 14th. There's going to be a lot. That week is going to be fun. I'll probably come back with more for you with regard to that. Yeah, February 4th through the 14th is interesting. We'll look at it closer as we get to it, but there's going to be a lot in Capricorn, and the consequences of what's going on are going to play out at that time. Your card is the lilies. There's some type of experience that you're applying to current situations, or someone with experience is giving you guidance and help. And I think it's very important for you to be aware of that or be receptive to that in some way. So someone is, there's knowledge from experience guiding you. Since it's the 3rd house, I wouldn't be surprised if this wasn't something to do with a brother or a sister, so like a sibling giving you good advice, good perspective. Scorpios, I love this transit for you. I love it because I'm a Scorpio rising, so it's pretty close to where my placements are. Not exactly, but the combinations, and I will emphasize, we will milk it till it's dry, okay? These transits of Jupiter and Pisces, because once they're gone, so let's celebrate. Once Jupiter's in Pisces now, and the North Node in Taurus, and Uranus in Taurus, you're on the prowl in the biggest way. So look who you're interacting with, what they're saying, how they are saying what they're saying, and why. There's a very loving energy protect yourself, Scorpios, because don't get drawn into unnecessary things at this time, because they will waste your time, and you want to be in the eagle phase. You want to be in the loving phoenix phase of Scorpio, of being receptive and in a very positive energy, because that's when you'll be able to recognize those people around you who have the same love frequency that you do. It's a very, very beautiful transit, and it's nice that it's correlating, which means it's happening at the same time. So sorry, I think I jumped into it without explaining it. You have transits in the 5th and the 7th house right now, which are all about love. Okay, so sorry if you don't know astrology. Sorry, I just jumped ahead. But there's a lot of like insightful decisions that you need to make about yourself. And I think that this is extremely an insightful time for you. And so embrace it. Congratulations. So listen to your elders, listen to people giving you advice. Someone who you trust a lot has something to say. And then focus on love, and don't let frustrations bring your level down to defensive Scorpio, because then you're going to missing out on the higher frequencies of love by being upset. Okay, so let's take a look at some tarot cards for you. So this is for Aquarius season. We have 2 of Wands perspective. Also, if it's not love, whatever you're trying to achieve, keep the energy high, keep the energy loving, be hopeful. If somebody's being overly negative and making you question what you're doing or what you're focusing on, I would say stay away. This could be wife. This could be all sorts of energy. And maybe this is the person. I'm actually thinking this is the person who's giving you good energy or good advice. And this is encouraging you to embrace something new. Uranus with the North Node is going to be great. This is a rare transit. This happens once every 20 years. The conjunction of North Node and Uranus. It's not happening yet, but it's getting close. And it's going to be awesome. We have some really cool transits coming up. One of them, which we know about, I've already talked about it, is Jupiter and Neptune. And we talk about the heavy, but the good transits are Jupiter and Neptune and North Node with Uranus. They're just going to be so great. Uranus rules the Fool card, so you might be encouraged to try something new. You might be encouraged by someone who knows to come out of your comfort zone. What I'll say, I'm grown now, and what I would say to like someone who's 20 to 30, or even through your 30s, I'll say this because I was online reading tarot and astrology through my 30s, right? So at 30, you may be feeling old, but you're so young. My 30s went so fast for me. They were such an improvement in my quality of life. But I also didn't participate so much in a lot of things because of some circumstances. And so I didn't get to participate in certain aspects of life. So what I'll say to somebody who's in their late 20s or early 30s or throughout their 30s, you're a baby, and don't hold yourself back by ideas that you're old. This is your time to embrace so many things. You're independent, you're strong, you're smart. And so don't hold yourself back. And for people who are in their 20s, the world has a way of really pushing us down and telling us we're not worthwhile, and especially young people. And it makes me so angry because I went through it at how limiting we treat young people, and how much you have to offer. So rather than interacting with that level of disrespect, know your value and assert it. And don't allow them to gaslight you. Don't let the world gaslight you into submission, because in your 20s you have more physical strength, you have stronger cognitive abilities, you can learn more, all this stuff, and you should go for it. And I'm sure I can say the same thing, or someone can say the same thing for people in their 40s or 50s, 60s, whatever. But that's the one thing I'll say. So you're looking for that kind of advice. I just gave you some heartfelt advice, so maybe I'm your empress, but in some way, like a friend, right? But this type of energy is what you're looking for. hopeful, embrace the world, and know your value, and embrace the possibility. So if you don't have someone to say something for you like that, I hope that you heard me, and I hope it helps. Okay, so wisdom. And then we have the King of Swords, Gemini, Aquarius, or Libra, secondary transits in fire. And then we have the Seven of Wands. You're defending yourself against imposition. And the thing is, this is some other heartfelt advice. Today, Scorpios get my heartfelt advice a lot because I have a Scorpio rising and I'm very fond of your sign on a heart-based level. And so the thing is about defending yourself from the imposition of others. In the moment, it's kind of like a video game. Who wins, who loses. But what's happening when you're defending yourself and welcoming in somebody else's circumspection, the King of Swords, if somebody's judging you or criticizing you, you're losing time. And so it's very important for you to recognize that in the moment you've defended yourself, but the bigger picture is that your energy is being problematized by someone who is criticizing something about you, if they are, and the loss is in lost time, or the fact that you have to entertain it. So embrace the new, embrace the positive. Know that if you're defending yourself against someone, you're holding yourself back. And at the end of the day, their mind's probably not going to change, and you may miss out on some opportunities, and you may prove them right. So be careful with how you play that game of self-defense. The next message is, here we go, the Emperor. Look at this, very lucky. Time to embrace the big picture. And I said the love is off the charts. So it could be like a bit of a leap of faith for some of you. And if you're in a relationship, this could be a great improvement from a deeper insight. So we got deep with Scorpio, and that's what I love about Scorpios, is the depth. And yeah, so I'll just mention one more thing. And we'll talk about this in a dedicated video, but South Node is in Scorpio right now. So what that means is, deep learning, deep learning, deep understanding. The South Node has just finished through my first house because I'm such a late placing Scorpio. I'm almost a Sag. I've been going through it. There's such a deep catharsis that's going on right now with the lilies. Expect a year and a half of a lot of introspection, a lot of deep self-awareness, it's not going to be, everything's going to be profound. You're going to have profound observations and experiences. So make them good, make them great. Okay. And Leo, Capricorn, hi. I wanted to talk to you early because there's a lot to say for Capricorn right now. Aquarius season emphasizes Capricorn, and this will be your most important season until next December. So pay attention to this. Compared to the other signs, your energy is emphasized now and will emphasize again in Capricorn season. Until then, you'll get a full moon and some random transits, but overall, this is it. Overall, Capricorn, and I'll give you a good introduction. You're looking at Pluto at the end of Capricorn for the next couple years. So everything to do with your sign has a lot to do with closing of cycles. So pay attention to cycles closing, things transforming, and all of that. Lots of saying goodbye to things, to certain things in your life that are outdated. And because it's Pluto, they're big deal things. Okay, so you got the sun. So this is your time to shine, mother lover. This is your time to be great. This is a time in which your instincts are at top notch. Through the week of January 24th through the 31st or so, you might feel a little bit groggy, or you might feel a little bit, out because Mercury's retrograde and Venus is retrograde. But as the 31st comes and goes, then you will start feeling much better. So you'll have a new moon in your second house on the 31st, which will in some way give you some financial beginning. And then Venus will go direct and Mercury will go direct, and things will really lighten up through the rest of February. So if you're feeling a little cloudy right now, I understand you have 2 inner planet retrogrades in your first house. That makes sense. Okay. And overall, you have a little bit of a lucky streak in love too, Capricorn. North Node is entered into Capricorn, into Taurus. We'll talk about this more coming up, but just, know that romance is not too far behind for you this year. So we'll talk about that more when we talk about the nodes. Okay, so first we have Princess of Cups. Aren't they lovely cards? Okay, Princess of Cups is the Page of Cups. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Then we have Capricorn, your energy, Mr. Devil. I just feel like you can be caught unaware, working hard, doing something, and then you meet someone who's just lovely energy, very loving, lovely energy. And I just see unexpected love for you possible. And weird love, if that's okay with you for me to say, atypical things for you. You might have a very different perspective on who you're attracted to. So be very open. And the sun is saying it's like, it's there for you. Very, very nice transit. We have the High Priestess. Your siblings might connect you. If a sibling or a cousin is inviting you to a family dinner or out with friends, go, because you might meet someone through them. Then we have the High Priestess, Insight. And then we have the Seven of Cups. Very, very dreamy. We're heading into, the conjunction between Neptune and Jupiter. We're going to see lots of this stuff going on. Don't let the dreams rule. It's kind of like Alice in Wonderland vibes a little bit. Very dreamy, very kind of different. There's I forget the name. I'll tell you guys the name of the movie. It's a French movie and it's all about dreams, but I forget the title. So if I remember, I'll put it in the comments. So Last Judgment, that's Pluto making some big decision. I feel as though there's a very strong attraction here towards someone else. Maybe this is how someone sees you, but I think that there's a great drive around you to get something out of a relationship and make a big decision. Big decision, Pluto. So you might actually at this time, and especially after this kind of week of January 24th through the 31st, you might be very assertive. So if there's someone who you like a lot, you might just go for it. So no mountains too high. Basically, no valleys too low. Anything that you want, this is your time to get it. And remember, in respect to the rest of the year, I want you guys to watch my videos throughout the year, but this is your time to shine. This is your time to go after what's important. The rest of the year is more low-key for you and good because you've had so many transits in Capricorn. In 2019 and 2020, you've had enough. But I also feel like it's a good thing that it's happening for you now. And so take it and use it. Whatever it is that you feel so much passion towards. Even if you don't, somebody could be confusing you. This High Priestess and the Seven of Cups. If you're getting psychic readings or if you're watching a lot of YouTube videos on tarot and astrology, if you're getting the feeling of confusion, be very wary of that energy. So if somebody is bringing confusion into your life through their messages, and may not be intentional, I'm not calling out names, then I think that what you feel, your instincts are more relevant than somebody else's interpretation. And this is very strong. What you feel good about and what you love, you need to pursue right now. So very happy for you. Very, very beautiful sun energy. Look at the sun. And happy birthday, you guys, if you're having a birthday today. Okay, so let's see the next sign. We've done Leo, right? Aquarius. Birthday girls and boys. My little mother-loving weirdos. I was going to open the video by saying, hey, mother lovers, about Aquarius. But I was like, no, because people who don't know the channel, they won't get it and they'll run away. They'll be like, what's this lady talking about? Like, Aquarian moon in the house. Hey! Okay. So, okay. Hi, Aquarians. Happy birthday. So Aquarius season isn't so Aquarian. There's some things going on, like the new moon in Aquarius that's happening on the 31st. If you have a birthday on the 31st, that's conjunct. It's in the same position as this new moon. It's a big new moon for you then. If you're born anywhere from the 27th of January through like the 4th of February, that's great. We'll talk about the astrology in a minute. I just want to pull a Lenormand card. Secrets revealed. 12th house, the book. Yes, okay. So a lot's going on in your 12th house. That's what I wanted to say. And some of it's retrograde action, such as Mercury going over your ascendant into the 12th house, Venus turning retrograde or going direct. So in the last week of January, you may have a lot of themes come up about who's saying what behind closed doors. And there's a little bit of a Nancy Drew Sherlock Holmes energy here, in which you're taking a closer look or maybe diving a little bit deeper to find out who's who and what's what. So you may be very assertive to try to figure things out. If this is in relation to 2019 or 2020, so you may have the feeling that something's up. You may dig a little bit deeper and find some treasure, if you know what I'm saying. So, you know, also be wary of, with this transit, Venus retrograde and stuff, if a friend's showing up on your door wanting to chat from the past and you don't know what their intentions are, it's a pretty sneaky energy here in the 12th house. So be careful. I'm not saying be paranoid, but be a little cautious with this energy. Overall, you have the 4th house transit. Your house is good. Lots of decorating going on. Lots of changing things around, remodeling things, like where each piece of furniture is. So I think it's good. You have a full moon at the end of Aquarius season in Leo. And that's going to be on February 16th, right? And it'll be right at the end of Leo. So right there by your 8th house. Something could evolve. Somebody could be jealous of your relationship situation, whether you're in a relationship or single and looking around and somebody likes you. So be very wary of, you know, people having, you know, you being happy doing your thing and someone not being so happy for you. Also, Jupiter in Pisces will do a dedicated video for this big financial boon that's starting right now. So you're pretty good at not necessarily internalizing other people's horse poo. So, you know, keep up with that energy and do your detective work, especially with this South Node in your 10th house. You know, I would say enemies beware. Enemies of Aquarians beware, because especially with, this is a sextile energy between the 12th and the 10th house. So if somebody's crossing you at work, or if somebody's working, I would not cross an Aquarius with this energy. And for the next year and a half, it's a very good transit for unearthing the truth, the book. Yes, what's behind the curtain. I'm using the metaphor of Wizard of Oz a lot, so let's explain it for you guys now. I don't know if you guys know it. But essentially, Wizard of Oz is about an inept man behind a curtain creating a false reality and gaslighting Dorothy, right? So he's just, and everybody in Wizard of Oz, in whatever they call that land. So he's just like a little decrepit man. So when I say it's like the Wizard of Oz, you know, someone who looks like the giant all-knowing head, like a narcissist, is just like a little teeny weeny shriveled little short man, you know? Okay, so here we go. We have the 7 of Swords, Moon in Aquarius. Where's my gang at? Moon in Aquarius in the house. And then we have 8 of Cups. It looks like it's a repeat of the other reading, but I'll keep it. Turn your back on something. You know, when people are lying to us and when they're gaslighting or manipulating us in some way, we get caught up, you know, and we care at first. There's a stage of caring, and then when you realize, like, it's just BS, then you just don't care so much. So you're in that stage, and you might be experiencing a situation in which in the recent past, it was very triggering for you and very upsetting. And now it's just like, it's just another thing. And you have the strength now. So, you know, like somebody was the Wizard of Ozing you. So they seem like this all-knowing head, and you've looked now behind the curtain, right? 12th house, this thing. It's just a little short man. Okay, so here we have the Devil, which is, you may also be surprised to find about a quality of a person at this time. So I really feel as though this 8 of Cups is huge right now, in which you're de-emphasizing your emotions. So I'm not saying you don't have emotions. I'm saying that the thing that was riveting you, that was making you so upset, is now just a fly on the wall or whatever else. And then therefore you're not a deer in the headlights no more, right? I want to just mention for all of you watching live or watching the whole video, have you guys noticed how much the Devil card has come up? And I want to start showing you guys more how astrology and tarot really works, so people are less skeptical, because I think I'm a level-headed person with it. In other words, I'm not like a woo. I get pretty woo-woo, but I'm pretty level-headed. And like I said in the intro, I like science. But it's very clear that when there's lots in Capricorn, we have the Devil come up all the time, which is ruled by the sign of Capricorn. So it's some kind of measurement, you know, it really is. And you can see it after doing a lot of readings. You can see when there's a lot in Aquarius, we'll see the star come up everywhere. So these correlations happen all the time with the transits. So I'm just taking a little pause to appreciate that. Tons of transits in Capricorn. All the signs are getting the Devil card. And you see, I'm just cutting cards. I'm not being dramatic. Just taking a card. And here's the High Priestess. So High Priestess is a very 12th house card too. Deep insight, also about financial things. You know what's important. You know where the good energy is. Prince of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in Earth, and look, Ace of Cups. So out with the old, in with the new. If you feel like you've let go of a relationship, a friendship, or romance, Ace of Cups is coming your way. I don't think necessarily it's during your season. Maybe for some of you it will be, but I think it's on the horizon. So if you're in the stage of letting go of a friend, so thinking like, oh, this was nice, and then being like, that's such a letdown. There's some really positive outcome in love that's coming your way. And if you're asexual or you're married and this isn't really about love for you, if a friend let you down, there's some silver lining. And it's a better lining than what you had. So it always works that way. If you let go of a bad relationship, if you get a new relationship that's good, that's automatically better. So you're heading into an Ace of Cups. Aquarius, happy birthday, my little birdies. I hope you guys are doing well. Okay, so now, next sign. Is anybody keeping track? Because this is the part where I start losing focus. Scorpio we've done. I don't think Connie's not here, so. Oh no, no one's keeping track. Okay, that's okay. We'll figure it out. If anybody knows what signs we haven't done, then please let me know. It'll be very helpful. Pisces, I know I haven't done, so let's do Pisces. I know I haven't done Cancer. I haven't done Aries. I kind of know. I haven't done Taurus. Okay, so Pisces, little Pisces, let's see what's going on. So Pisces, hi Pisces, welcome to my channel. Let's take a look at your cards. So here we go. We have the mountains. Okay. So I think that you're about to confront some people in your life, which is this 11th house. I think that you've been sitting quietly on something and avoiding the issue. Pisces can be incredibly non-confrontational, but there's something that you know about your environment, your social environment, that needs to be addressed. For those of you who are into tech, who are Pisces, who are into technology, coding, all these things, this transit in the 11th house is a boon. It's an undertaking for some of you in technology. So if you want to learn coding, or if you want to learn some aspect of technology, this is going to be an impossibly positive chance or opportunity. Also, we're getting ready for the conjunction between Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces on April 8th. So everything from here on end leading up now, this is a great time, in other words, to take on a big opportunity. So Pisces, it might feel very personal for you at this time, as the North Node is alongside your IC. IC meaning your original energy from your childhood, where you started from in this life. But I think this is your time to look forward and take on, especially I'm getting the vibe that many of you want to learn something and it's daunting. It's like, this is so much to learn. I don't know if I can do it. This is your time to tackle it. This is your time to learn whatever it is that you're meant to learn. Okay, so let's see your cards. We have the... Didn't I just mention, watch the Aquarian reading, because I just mentioned the star in the Aquarian reading. This is so funny. So the star Aquarius, we have a new moon in your 12th house. That's going to happen on the 31st of January. This is when maybe the confrontational part, if someone needs to hear something, that's when the catalyst event might happen. Catalyst event means an event that begins something, you know. Then we have Queen of Cups. She's shown up a few times. Sympathetic friends, compassionate listeners, people who care about others are really sought after at this time. They're just everywhere, and their energy is desired. People want it. People want the sympathy. Hanged Man. I think somebody who cares about you will tell you to slow down. I think somebody who cares about you, so in line with the January new moon in Aquarius, I feel as though you'll want to say something or confront someone, possibly. And I think somebody's going to advise you to go slow and wait. And so you do what you decide, but I think that might be an idea. And then we have the Empress energy. Some of you want to confront your mother about something. That's intense. I think you're getting a surge of energy. And so I feel like maybe this is what's fueling you to want to be so assertive. Look at this, 8 of Wands. There's this huge energy of you putting yourself out there. And I pulled 2 cards by mistake, so I'll show you. We have the Lovers and the 10 of Swords. So I was just meant to pull 1, but I pulled 2, so we'll honor it. I feel like the reason that you're not meant to confront it is because you will find out something else, or something will change moving forward. So in other words, you may be very eager to confront someone on something you know, particularly something that's hidden, a secret. But I think that someone will give you advice to slow down. And I think you'll figure out later that that was a good decision. But you decide what you need to do. But there's this unearthing thing. On the other side of things, with the technology, picking up a skill, learning something, there may be a pivot that you take in the near future throughout this Aquarian season into March, into your birthdays, in which there's going to be a pivot in which you take on, I was thinking about it, a technology or a skill that you want to learn. You will end up learning something else that's peripheral to it, which means the thing that you learn, you will be learning something else. So go slow. I know from the start you want to learn something early, that you want to tackle the mountain. But as the month continues and into your birthdays, into Pisces season, that might shift, and you're really waiting for Jupiter and Neptune to come together and go with that. So you're experiencing the conjunction of your two rulers, which is once in a lifetime, your mom didn't have it, your grandma didn't have it, type of transit. And because it's in your first house, it's the luckiest place to have it. So you're leading up to something big. You're already feeling the excitement. You're already feeling the surge, but you really want to temper that, because what's coming is big, and it's coming in April. So you want to be very careful with your energy right now, to not jump to conclusions, to not get caught up in things too soon. There's other things happening on different levels around you. This Ten of Swords to me is really talking about someone else. There's something you don't know that's going to emerge about someone close to you. The Lovers is a relationship. So for some of you, this is a relationship. But the Lovers is also the brothers. It's ruled by Gemini. The ruler of the third house in your chart, that is Taurus, where the North Node is, especially if you're having conflict with a sibling, Pisces, and you're jumping to conclusions about them, you might find something else out about their situation, which will change your perspective. So you don't want to say too much too soon. There's more there than meets the eye. So be patient with, running at things. But yeah, you're tackling some kind of mountains. So we'll see you guys soon for Pisces season, I hope. I don't know if I'll do seasons. I don't know how you guys like it from me. Then we have Cancer. Hi, Cancer. Sorry to keep you waiting, even though it's random. Rando, Marlon Brando, Rando. We have Cancer next. Let's see your energy. Okay, so there's Cancer. Hi, Cancers. Let's pick a Lenormand card just to start to see the energy. Oh, you got 2. Okay, we'll honor it. You got 3. No, we won't honor it. I'll show you what they are, and then I'll pick one. So they got stuck together. Tower, mice, and cross. This may be a bit of a warning that somebody is stealing something from you at work. The tower isn't the tower in the tarot. It's basically in Lenormand it means work. But I just feel like there's someone stealing something at work, and the cross is a burden that you're left with. So there's a situation around that. Maybe it's already happened, because on the bottom of the deck was the anchor, which means that it's almost come to an end. Okay, so let's see. End of the destination. Here is your energy. You have the snake. So yeah, I think that you're still getting this energy of being bound up in a situation. I don't feel like people have been so great to you. And maybe this is the beginning of the North Node in your 11th house, where some housekeeping is necessary. Squaring Saturn in your 8th house, change is necessary for you. And there's going to be an increase of pressure, Cancer, for you to make the change that you need. So all those things, watch the beginning where I talk about the astrology, and where I talk about how the nodes will be squaring the fixed signs, because that's hitting you very hard. And so not in a bad way. It just means that there will be tension in your life promoting you to change, and yet there will be a conflict of interest with the past that will be holding you back. And so there'll be this push and pull between changing and staying the same, and your need to work your way through that throughout Aquarius season. Very important for your sign. All the transits are in the 7th house of partnership. So let's keep going with that idea. There could be something at work that is just very intense at this time, especially with bosses, or if you have a shared business with someone. So, this is one scenario that I could see happening. You share a business with someone and things have gotten out of hand, and it's getting kind of personal, where, you're getting caught up in their drama or whatever they're bringing. So it may be time to, if you're in that situation, it may be time for you to change. Likewise, it's prioritizing who you keep close to yourself at this time, Cancer. And this week, January 24th through the 31st, is going to be a big emphasis of that. Watch the astrology to understand more. After the 31st, after the new moon in Aquarius, which is in your 8th house, there very likely you will initiate some level of change to the things that are not working, and then you'll push forward. So into February will be the resolution of that. I never even realized, honestly, how intense this is going to be for Cancer. Very, very intense. But open horizons. Jupiter is in your 9th house. Don't be afraid. This is leading to good things. And if something's under your skin or someone's screwing around with you, someone's taking your good faith and running with it, then I think that it's very important for you to nip it in the bud very, very early on. Likewise, friends. If you need to change friends, initiate that change now. Don't be afraid. Don't hold back. Then we have the Queen of Wands, Sag, Leo, or Aries, secondary transit in water. 2 of Pentacles. Yeah, it's kind of out on the limb a little bit. Out on the limb means that somebody is out there doing something that they're not necessarily confident about. You have to kind of go out of your comfort zone a little bit here. And I think this is you, Queen of Wands. We have the King of Cups. So without being pessimistic, it's not negative transit. There could be a huge emphasis on building a relationship with someone. And there could be a huge emphasis on someone showing a lot of very positive feelings towards you. Again, this may evolve through January 24th through the 31st. And after the 31st, and definitely after February 4th, this may really pick up the pace. The 4th through the 14th of February may be very, very fast moving for you in terms of relationships. At first, you may feel unsure, but if it's a good one, somebody might be opening up your world, Cancer. Here is the next message. We have the 4 of Cups, unexpected offer. Definitely if it doesn't feel good, don't go for it. If you feel bound up by this person or situation, don't go for it. For many of you, you might feel timid. You might feel shy of what's being offered. So somebody could be challenging your comfort zone, but out of that comes the Ace of Pentacles, new opportunities. And you also get the Chariot, which is your card. You're going to get through this. I think this is a seminal moment for you, which means it's a very important moment to break some chains, to break some things that are holding you back. Whatever's coming up in your life, embrace that and move forward, okay? Very exciting, very intense, Cancers. I'm expecting that a couple Cancers this week will get a super rush reading with me, which is 72 hours. And I'm not, I'm fine on my end in terms of readings, but I can just see many of you under a lot of pressure and contacting me for a last minute reading because, a lot of things are popping off. So if you're feeling over the top, overwhelmed, and yet needing to act, you know where to reach me, but it'll be okay. And remember, the outcome was the Chariot. So you got this. You don't need me. You got it figured out. Okay. All right. So let's see the next card or the next sign. That made me laugh. It feels for Cancer like it's a heavy energy, and yet I think it's very positive outcome, very good outcome. So I think it's a challenge to your comfort zone. Okay. Virgos. Geminis I haven't done, right? Hi, Geminis. Let's take a look at your sign. Hi, Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's take a look at your cards. I think I know who's left. I think Gemini, Aries, Taurus. That's it. Gemini, Aries, Taurus, right? Okay. Oh, thank you, Deji. Good. Thanks for doing that, Deji. And I like the little, icons. Okay, so let's rock and roll Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Let's pick a card for Gemini. We have a lot to talk about today, Gemini. Aren't you guys glad I did this? I could feel it. I'm like, we need to have this conversation right now. Okay, so we have Gemini starts, and last time I called you carnies. You guys are so funny about accepting that child. The sweet Gemini child, something fresh, something new. So child in Lenormand means new, which I understand. I think that for you, new is a good way to explain what's going on. So, of course, the emphasis is in Capricorn, and not to beat a dead horse, but there was definitely a lot of transits in this area of your chart back in 2019 and 2020. And so those were outer planet transits, and now the inner planet transits are in the same sort of sequence a lot. So for you, in 2019 and 2020, there was a lot of sizable change. By the way, there's a giant eagle flying right in front of me, which I take that as a good omen for you, Gemini. Best wishes. Anyway, so in 2019 and 2020, literally 10 feet from my house. So lucky, right? Okay. So anyway, so in 2019, 2020, the road was rocky for Gemini. The reason for this is the 8th house has a lot to do with change and transformation, ending, transitions. So when you have a lot packed in there, suddenly things can get pretty intense around change, transformation, intimacy. All the extremes are in the 8th house. And so yeah, it's a pretty intense placement, and it's intense when there's a lot of transits there as well. And so you might have been experiencing a lot in 2019 and 2020 with a lack of stability, which generally you're okay with, but in moderation, right? So this energy brings you back to that in some way, allows you to put things in order a bit more. Inner planets govern us individually more so than outer planets. Outer planets affect us generationally. However, I do believe outer planets have a personal impact and inner planets have a global impact. But suffice it to say, right now, it's about you setting things right, and especially in reference to 2019 and 2020. This means that whatever needs to be addressed regarding a change or an ending in those 2 years, address it now. And you may feel the pressure from those circumstances at this time too, be they positive or negative. So there's going to be things that work themselves out. The week of January 24th through the 31st, I would say you might feel a little bit claustrophobic in your circumstances. The retrogrades of Venus retrograde and Mercury retrograde can feel like a lot. So take it with a grain of salt. In February, it gets better. In February, you'll know how to act and things will progress. I also see for you with this child card, this is the house of endings and change. So the child is saying essentially that you are beginning something new in relation to those themes that I just talked about. Okay, Jupiter is right at the top of your chart, so you're very lucky right now. It's like one of the luckiest transits in a 12-year time. Some cards fell, so I'll show you them just for fun. They won't be a part. So you guys get 10 of Swords a lot, right? So what I was talking about, harmonies, 10 of Swords is Sun in Gemini, makes sense. So it doesn't necessarily mean something bad for Gemini. And then we have 8 of Wands, which is Mercury in Sagittarius, a conversation about something that's dead and done, talking about something, initiating a conversation, having the conversation with someone about something important. Okay, so we have 8 of Swords first. There's a situation that feels outstanding, that's difficult to resolve, and it's about figuring out a way, finding the right way to address it. Okay. Then we have the Fool. This is very similar to the child energy. This is also Uranus, which is in your 12th house. There's a new opportunity that's not self-evident, that's evolving, that will set you off in a new direction. So something that you have been stuck with, that you have been dealing with for some time, soon will find a new way to express itself, a new resolution. So you will find a new outcome to old circumstances. Okay? So whatever you've been beating your head against the wall about, Gemini, you might have a really good break right now to go a different direction. Then we have the Nine of Pentacles, which is Venus and Virgo. They say Venus and Virgo is like negatively positioned, but I think that the Nine of Pentacles is pretty rad, so I like Venus and Virgo. Then we have Seven of Wands. I think that you're defending yourself with your resources, with your money. So you're hiding behind money. This could be things like, you know, Five of Cups. Yeah, I feel like you're defending yourself with money. By that I mean that using your money in, like, for example, you know, when, how do you say this? Like, so for example, food order delivery services, right? You're using your money to order food so you don't have to get dressed up and go to the store, like put on your makeup or whatever you do. So you're using your money to avoid going out in public and having someone bring food to you. And so we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Seven of Wands. And yet I think that there's still some type of nostalgia for the past. I feel like something very deep-rooted happened for you between 2019 and 2020. And it may not be one single event. It may be several different things happening that it could be like sadness about your relationship with a person deteriorating, or sadness about what happened to someone, something like that. And I think a big portion of that is resolving at this time, but I still see you as very sentimental and very nostalgic about it. This is like the energy of having had a falling out with a close friend and not knowing what to do about it, right? So for some of you, that might be a part of that. And then we have, but you have something new to be excited about. That's not the issue. But I really feel like at this time through Aquarius season, you're working through some very personal energies about people you care about and about relationships you care about. In the 8th house, of course, it could be shared resources. So maybe you had to do what you needed to do to make sure your money's okay, but that came at a cost of some personal relationships. So maybe it's with your ex-partner. You're sad that you did what you needed to do, but at the same time, it's sad that the level of respect was deteriorated or something else happened. So you asserted yourself. By the way, the child can also represent literal children. So it could be involved in custody situations in which you did what you needed to do to have custody. But in doing so, just personally, I think that you're going to be thinking a lot about it and feeling like, I wish that went smoother. I wish that was easier. To kind of calm your feelings about that, it was a crazy transit from 2019 and 2020, and crazy kind of transit right now. So although less intense. So don't feel so like we all, like the extremes that we've gone through in the last 2 years are all contextualized by that transit. So we all have to be a little bit tolerant of how we dealt with it, because we were at extremes individually and collectively. So there is no perfect answer to an imperfect situation, right? That's very important to kind of keep in mind. Don't overjudge yourself in difficult circumstances. Okay, so I think I have Taurus and Aries left. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Hi, Tauruses. Taurus, the luckiest little bull. Yesterday I posted, if you're not following me on Twitter, that's fine. But I posted the cutest bison, and I know that's not Taurus because Taurus is a bull, but a bison is another like animal that's very similar, a wild bull. But I love bison so much, and this one's gorgeous, and it's purring, and I don't think it's purring in a warm way. I think it's telling the person filming it to leave it alone. But they're beautiful animals, and if you like bulls and things like that, maybe go check out my Twitter and watch the video on that. Okay, so big news, Taurus, North Node is in your first house. We'll talk about the North Node in a dedicated video later. This makes you very lucky at this time. When the North Node reaches Uranus, and it's going to be later this year, it's going to be a breakthrough moment for you. And I would say leading up to that is going to be the major priority of your year. So we'll figure out, I haven't looked it up yet exactly when this is, but the conjunction of the North Node with Uranus is going to be extremely, and that's why I called you the luckiest sign, in my opinion, because you're going to have a life-changing event happen in your life that's going to take you on a completely different direction. This conjunction happens in Taurus once every 82 years. So not in your lifetime, maybe when your parents were kids or something. Or no, my math is funny, but you know, it's been a long time since they've been together. The North Node joins Uranus once every 20 years. And in Taurus once every, oh, hold on. North Node, no, yeah, the math on this is crazy. I'll look it up and I'll tell you guys. Sorry, that was funny. The North Node joins Uranus once every random, because it won't be always in this conjunction. This might be a very rare conjunction, actually, because the North Node is in Taurus once every 20 years and Uranus is in Taurus once every 80. So it feels like maybe every 80 years it happens, but I don't know if it fully aligns. So it's actually 18 and 82 that throws it off. I'll do the math and tell you guys later. This is how I find transit. I'm like, wait a minute, what's the math on this? And then I start doing the math in my head. So anyway, so we have North Node in Uranus this year. It's a once in a lifetime transit. It's a big deal. And it's going to allow you to redirect your life in some magnificent, amazing new way. Okay, so I'll tell you guys about those conjunctions later. Now I'm curious. Now I want to hang up the live stream. Screw Aries. Sorry, Aries, I love you, but screw, and then go and look it up. The nerd in me is just in overdrive right now. Okay, so we have the ring, which is commitment. So I think that something is dawning for you that's going to be like a huge moment in your life. I don't know if it's a relationship or something to do with career. For many of you, rising sun, Tauruses, career boost, and especially starting at the beginning of the year, throughout Aquarius season, something might really pop off for you, might really start. You might get some opportunities. Listen, you're in the foothills of what's coming. In other words, what's coming is huge, and you're only seeing the first beginning of that. So whatever is being given to you, wherever your life's going, pay attention, because through this transit in Aquarius, you're going to get pushed really far. And after that, when the North Node joins Uranus, it's going to be a big deal. So yes, congratulations, Taurus. You're a very, very lucky sign. And let me just tell you this. Saturn in the 10th house is not an easy transit. It can really produce for people difficulties and consistency in work. So what that means is that problems can come up in your work. Bad jobs may come apart. So they may not be, if a job is toxic and it's not good, it may really break down for you when Saturn is in the 10th house. And then you might feel like you're constantly clawing at the walls just to get some stability. Saturn in the 10th house is not easy. But what it does is it reorients you to put you where you need to be. So if you're in that instability pattern, which Saturn does, especially at the beginning part of the 10th house transit, know that what's coming is very good stability. And so right behind that, you have all those transits that are freshly from retrograde motion. There's a lot of shifting going on with your career with this Aquarius transit. In other words, be patient. If it feels out of sort and it feels erratic at this time, or if you're feeling maybe your career's unstable, there's things changing. They are changing, but the outcome is going to be very, very good. there's something big that's going to come out of this for you. So be patient. And if you're experiencing career instability with Saturn in the 10th house, that's very normal for Saturn in the 10th house. And I don't think I can think of an example of this transit that left a person in the worse situation than they began. So it's all good, even if it feels uncomfortable. So be mindful of that. Over the next few years, Pluto's going to enter into your 10th house. You're really beginning a renaissance in your life. And especially if you're career minded, if career is important for you, this is your own business. It's just a very good transit for Tauruses right now. So, and in your social life, you have a big beginning with regard to friends, networks, just a big boon for Taurus. It's a big year. And the commitment card, the ring, signifies to me that you're picking and choosing like a roulette table. You're putting down your chips in certain positions and you're going to play out those hands. So it's not like gambling. It's a serious life matter, but you're selecting and choosing what's important. We have the Four of Pentacles. This is Sun in Capricorn, by the way. So that's important. And then we have the Hermit, which is Virgo energy. You're meant to do something on your own. And I don't mean in terms of career, although for some of you, small business is the way to go. But I think that you're supposed to stand apart from others at this time. And if you're feeling alone, this is the lead up to North Node and Uranus. If you're feeling alone in this moment, it's because you're meant to do something different that other people don't understand. And so don't be so uncomfortable with the fact that you're feeling different or lonely or alone or any variation of it, because you're onto something and you should go with that. And I'll tell you more about next time we talk. I'll figure out the North Node Uranus transit and tell you about it. Here is the next message. We have the Three of Wands. So something's coming in. Be very, very patient. And I've said this a lot today. A lot is do a lot of work without too many expectations and be patient because the consequences will come in, right? We have some big, very lucky transits coming. We have and I'm so happy to say that because we've had so many gnarly, intense, negative transits that it's nice to be able to talk about like good times right now, right? We have the Magician. We have the Queen of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, secondary transits in water. And we have the Two of Wands, change in perspective. You're heading in some direction. The Magician hasn't come up once today. And what the Magician represents, to me, it's Mercury energy, which is right at the top of your chart. It's the self-starter energy. It's saying what you need to say to assert yourself. And because so many transits are in your 9th house, it's a concept-driven time for you. Concept means your ideas are influencing how your world is at. And I think that you're heading somewhere where you don't know where you're going yet. And I want to encourage you to have courage in that and have confidence in that. So we don't know what it is yet, but choose wisely and be brave, and you're going to do very, very well. Okay. I think only Aries next, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think we've done everyone. I haven't insulted an air sign. A water sign, which is good. I think it's only Aries, so I'm going to do Aries now. In case, but please correct me. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, Aries. Hi, Aries. Save the best for last. Now, Aries, I have a request of you guys, because when I post Aries videos, I'm not sure why, but you literally don't get promoted well. You guys are lovely. I love Aries. It's my 5th house, but I just literally don't get many views from you. And that's not your fault. For some reason, the algorithm doesn't show your videos, but if you want to see my videos, when I post a dedicated Aries video, make sure to like. The individual sign readings don't have comments, but try to watch the whole video as much as you can. And and like it, because that will help you see it again and it will help others see it. For some reason, Aries videos always like go straight down. Okay, so why don't we talk about your Lenormand first? I'll pick a card for you and see what's up. This card was funny feeling. Okay, bouquet. So lots of different options. There's something that you're receiving through this time. I keep on getting the energy for Aries in a payout in terms of career, which means you've had some pretty awesome transits in your 10th house. There's been a lot of movement and progress for you in your social life. Not everyone gets these transits. So the set of transits that have been happening since 2019 is not common, right? Very, very uncommon. And the fact that it's in your 10th house is not a coincidence. There are no coincidences, but it is a little bit of very lucky placement. So if you're a sun, moon, or rising Aries, the 10th house is loaded. 10th house is awesome. So you've been seeing the benefit of that in your life. Look at this. Sorry, I'm playing. But anyway, so we have the 10th house with a lot of positive energy and a lot of effort on your part with a lot of progress possible. And now you're getting the bouquet. So the bouquet to me suggests that there's some outcomes for everything you've been doing. And the North Node is in Taurus, which is again a very lucky transit. Let's see the next message. We have the 10 of Wands. So I think that the biggest thing for Aries has been sacrifice over the last couple years. In order to find success, you have needed to sacrifice aspects of yourself or aspects of your quality of life to get what you need. To be successful in work, you have to sacrifice your private life. If you want to be extremely social and focus on those things, you may need to sacrifice more intimate relationships. And the consequences of your sacrifices, probably most to do with your career and your popularity and so forth, have really complicated your life in some ways. And so what's coming up for you, and it's already been happening for the last year, but it's sorry, I had to move my foot, but I think that you're going to be addressing that. So you've addressed the money matters and you'll see the outcome of this. And I think you're very aware about the social impact on you and the need to address that, right? Here is the next message. We have the 4 of Pentacles, Sun in Capricorn. Very, very good financially, good outcomes. Remember, the North Node is in your 2nd house, which is going to give you a lot of opportunity to cash in financially. Then we have the 8 of Cups. Again, I feel as though, and I understand this because I can be a workaholic at times, and it's balancing out the private and the personal is so, the public and the personal is so important. And I really believe if you feel alone as a byproduct of extreme effort or working really hard, don't feel weird, because this transit was meant to emphasize this for you. So this is a once in a lifetime transit that was meant to happen. You won't get another one. So if the last couple years have been hard for you socially, in order to assure financial success, you're not going to get another run at this. You're going to have another opportunity for friendships over and over again. But this type of run is a once in a lifetime thing, and you're still experiencing it this year. So still use it to your benefit, but don't feel bad that you've done something wrong, that you're selfish or something like that, because this is rare. And by the way, this concentration is only at the beginning of the year, and then next year at the beginning too. So be mindful of that. Okay. Let's see 3 more cards. So it's a lot of you saying to yourself, essentially, I need to improve my social life. And I think you do. The other thing that I'll say is that your Jupiter will enter into Aries this year. And it will go into Aries from May until October. So while Uranus is in Pisces, I find the Uranus transit of the 12th house a bit intense, and I'll talk to you more about that in another video. But it can be a little bit intense. It could feel like a little like this is what it's come to sort of feeling. Don't worry, because very soon you're going to have Jupiter in Aries, and it's just going to push you right up. So if you're feeling like a little bit sad because the social life is a little gibbled, you'll figure it out. And also Saturn is in Aquarius, right? It really is a transit that clears out your social life of all the dirty and the bad people. So you may find, your social calendar reduced through this transit overall, but you're reducing like snakes and sharks and bad people. So it's tough. It's like the medicine you need, basically. And then we have the Devil card. I told you guys it's everywhere, right? And it's in your 10th house of career. I don't think you should regret it. I don't think you should regret your financial decisions. I think, Eight of Wands. It's looking up, Aries, and it's going to look up once May starts, really. And the other thing is, I know that the 12th house transit of Jupiter can be a bit rough, but when it creates the conjunction with Neptune on April 8th, that's going to be a miracle for you too. And in some way, it's going to be unexpected and it's going to be beautiful, and you should be excited about that. So we're all waiting for April 8th. That's going to be, let's make it like a national holiday or an international holiday of like Pisces. Okay, we'll see, it's leading you in some good direction. I am picking up at this point that you guys are feeling a little dragged down by stuff, by the way it's been going, but it's for your success. So like marathon runners, I don't run marathons. I run a block and I'm winded, right? But people who run really long distances, at the end of that distance, they're so tired, and it's that last bit of effort that's so important. You're in the final stretch of your financial opportunities, and there's going to be another transit at the end of the year in December, so don't freak out. But this is the home stretch. You're tired and you're drawn out, and put in the effort. Don't get discouraged. You're almost there, and the outcomes will start coming in already this year. And I think predictably, if I'm supposed to predict a time, I would be saying like things are really going to begin to pop off between May and October for Aries this year. So we'll talk to you then about that. But in the meantime, like my videos, watch them through, and that way they'll come to you in the future. You guys, thank you so much for being live and watching everything. And I hope you had fun with me today. I know it was a little bit unexpected, but it's always nice to see you all. And Happy New Year. If you've missed some of my recent videos, go into the description and look in the individual playlists. And I'll talk to you guys soon. I had a really fun time reading. It was just a very natural reading that came out of me, so it wasn't expected. And I'm off to read your comments. So